I have a 2004 Toyota 4Runner V6 4.7 liter. It was running good about a month and a half ago. I start to have a coolant leak at the left hand side near the firewall, and looking at forums online about the this year of 4Runner, they were all quoting that it had a bad head gasket leak was commonplace at that exact spot. Now, I only paid $7,000 for this vehicle about 5 years ago, and they were saying that it cost to do the head gasket for labor and all that about $4,000, $5,000, which brought in mind that, geez, is this vehicle worth it? So I took it upon myself to try and make sure that it was indeed the head gasket. So to do that, I had to take the air cleaner off, this part off, and another metal piece below here for the air intake, and to follow through to this back area. I could see this one pipe that I was rubbing my hand on was really rusting on the bottom badly. So there's a little rubber hose here that I used it to bypass that metal hose, but it would go in back and connect to this pipe, go to the back, and then come up and then go across the engine, connecting up to this hose that I'm using as part of my whole bypass. So anyway, I'll show you where that little pipe comes up, and it's really hard to get at. You can see it's down there. I'll zoom in, but it's this little pipe right here, and so to actually get at it, if you wanted to replace that whole pipe, you'd have to take apart the whole engine, and as you can see, I mean, at this age, stuff is rusting out on it. But in any case, if you have a leak at the back, don't assume it's a head gasket. Use the hose that was onto this little pipe that's connected to this housing here. Right down here, it's connected there. I just used it to angle up, add another foot hose right here, and probably didn't have to, because this would probably be maybe long enough to go all the way there, but I wanted to get it away from the engine just in case. And what the heck, I had bought 3 feet and decided to use some just so that there'd be no kinks in the hose going to the heater in the engine. I mean, for the inside of the vehicle, the heater core. Anyway, so before you have to, if I'd have known, I wouldn't have taken apart any of this. So to save you time, if you do have a coolant leak at the back, right where that spot is, and it's leaking down, simply bypass that metal pipe, which is made of from what I can tell, pretty thin metal, and where it goes down and all that, I think that the salt from the road just kills it. And at this age, it's got what, 246,000 kilometers on it, which would be in American miles probably something like 140,000. It's just a shame that they built it like that, because otherwise I don't understand why they go to the left side of the engine, then curve to go to the right hand side, when they could have built everything with a rubber hose and clamped it on to go to the right side where it connects. Anyway, this was my fix, and it cost me, well, I used a 3-foot hose, which cost me $4.78, a couple clamps, and a couple little metal joiners for the flexible pipe. So in total, about $10 Canadian. So to any of you out there that are thinking that you've got that leak and what can you do, spend $10, bypass that little output to go to your heater core, and if that cures the leak, then you don't have a head gasket issue, and you'll save yourselves a pile of money, because I presume that the garages, when you walk in and you say, I've got a head gasket, they just look at you and smile and take your money, because they'll do the job, and they'll take apart all this, and they'll probably replace these two housings and that big pipe and that small pipe, and it'll cost you a whole pile of money, when really at a certain age, when it's gone this far, do you want to spend that much more to maybe only have the vehicle another 4 or 5 years before something else goes bad with it? Anyway, this is my story, my advice. Bypass that little pipe.